Hey, what's up guys? Mike Thomas, aka the Young Trishula here. Yesterday I got to play in the Remote Duel Extravaganza and I finished X2 coming in 22nd place. I'm a little bit disappointed by this finish, primarily because I found out afterwards that top 16 got the Remote Duel mat, which I thought was really cool, and I was really hoping I could get my hands on one of them this weekend, but unfortunately I couldn't manage that, and I'm mainly disappointed because I could have finished in 5th place had I won the last round of Swiss, but unfortunately I just couldn't make that happen. But I wanted to share my deck profile with you guys anyway, because due to my school obligations I don't have a lot of time to make real videos for you guys, so I thought you guys might get some value out of just the deck profile, and I think that if anyone were to pick up this deck and just play it card for card, they could get a lot of value out of it, and they could do pretty well with it, since it performed pretty well for me, I would say. I streamed the deck profile live last night on Twitch, but because that was over an hour long, I've just compressed the highlights of the deck profile into this shorter video here for YouTube, so that you can just get right in and cut out all of the fluff. Shoutouts to Team Playmakers, and especially to Corey and Jibril for talking me out of playing some pretty bad ratios the night before the event. Anyway, enough of all that, let's get into the deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, I'm just gonna assume that we got the squad together, so we're just gonna hop into it. Let's go upside down mode. We're gonna start off with our hand traps. So we played 3 droll, 3 ash in the main deck. This was, the drolls were at one point, they were phantasmes, and I wasn't playing Ash Blossom until like the end of like last night, so like I wasn't gonna play hand traps. I was gonna play just phantasmes, and I was gonna main deck like back row hate, like MST in the main deck, because I was really expecting like just a lot of like scrubs and like Shadal. So I wanted something to deal with Schism and like awkward floodgates, like there can only be one. It was like, I think I had the right intuition, because like if you look at like what I played against, we played against a lot of like weird decks. Like we did not play against standard meta until like the back half of the tournament, but the drolls did win. We played against the first Dragon Link opponent in round 6. They opened the, there's a train. They opened the train. I was able to, like, I lost the dice roll and I was able to flip the dice roll around because I was main decking droll. That was the only time I drolled somebody game 1. And I drolled them in game 2, but I lost game 2. Those were the only 2 times I drolled anybody the whole tournament. So I don't know if it was worth playing this card, but like it came up, so we take those. That's all I have to say about the hand traps. Then we obviously play 3 Seifert. Some people play 2 of this. Like, don't play 2 of this, play 3 of this. Like, it's the best normal summon in the deck, obviously, but also you want to mill it off of Chaotic Magical. And a lot of times the way I would like start my opening play, because like if you open Chaos Space plus Quick Launch, you can, what you can do is, without using your normal summon, you can get to a board state of spheres plus one of the names. You put back the like you put back either white or black, whichever you had, and you chain the Quick Launch to the Chaos Space target, and then you summon your Tracer, shuffle your deck, and then you put your card at the bottom and you draw a card. And then you can make Pepega Ruler and mill 5, chain block the Pepega Ruler, and add the dead baby. And then if you play 3 Safer, you have like an insane chance to like hit one of these 3, like without using your normal summon. And so like if you hit it, you haven't used your normal summon, so now you have the normal summon Safer in your hand. You just normal summon Safer at that point, and then you can sack the baby that you can't use out of your hand, and then you just get your Tracer. So like you just get everything you need just by opening Chaos Space Quick Launch, and like so you want like the highest odds to mill this card off Pepega. So I then played the 2 Abso router. I just wanted to test this out because that Deadly's been doing it recently. But anyway, we played 2 Abso router. This card was cool. We bricked on it quite a bit. Quadborrel spectated us for a few games, and there were a few times that we just opened our hand and just passed. That happened a couple times. So the two routers were okay. And so moving on from that, we then played 2 Tracer, 2 Synchron, 1 Recharger. So we cut the Tracer down to 2 from 3 so that we could play the second Abso router. Basically just the thought being like you wanted more discard fodders, and then the extra Abso router just replaces the extra Tracer. I never missed the 3rd Tracer, so I think that's good enough reason to just say like, yeah, I mean like we can just keep playing the Abso router, right? We played white, black, and then for Korag we played the 1 chamber and then the 1 black metal. So these are obvious. I don't need to talk about these. The 1 chamber, so chamber you really only ever go for like you just get it off of Tracer or off of LP. I mean, like, so you don't really need 2 of it. And so the reason we play 1, not only for that, is also in the siding pattern. When you go second, a lot of the times you're looking to side out 3 to 6 cards. And it is easier if you play 1 chamber. When you go second, you can side out 1 chamber, 2 tidying as a 3-card side out. I really like just playing the 1 chamber. It made the siding pattern a lot easier. And then the cool thing is like, since you don't have to like awkwardly try to side out 4 cards, you then just have the 1 extra space where you're now just playing another 1 card starter. So that's why we played the 1. And then obviously you play the red MD for when you get Nibiru'd. Also, because we're playing black metal now, you just search it off that. Then we obviously just have the Brotar, Levy, and Nocto. The only one I really want to talk about is Nocto. I really wanted to play 3 Nocto Vision. Like, my original list did not play the hand traps, and instead I was playing 3 Nocto Vision and just 3 Phantasmes and then like 2 MSTs instead. Like, and the game plan was going to be that you just Phantasme your opponent and you dig for something like MST so that you don't lose to Schism, and then you just going second, you just always have Nocto Vision, so like you just push through everything. That was like the thought process, and Corey and Jib talked me out of doing that at the last second last night, and I think that was probably better because the Droll did beat a Dragon Link for us. And the Nocto Vision, like, it did its job, but like I never really needed it. So how often did Nocto Graveyard Effect come up? Never. That literally never came up, which was unfortunate. Then we main deck 3 Dark Ruler. I don't know if I need to talk about main deck Dark Ruler. Like, some people think this is weird. Like, somebody thought that I was weird for playing Dark Ruler in the main. But this is pretty standard. I mean, like, you use it, you just break the mirror match board with this, and then you also can just use it to like to negate Winda if that ever happens, and also against just like weird decks. But Dark Ruler didn't really do a lot for me. I activated it 1 time the whole day, and that was against the Dragon Link player round 6. I honestly just did it because it was just a blowout. Like, all he had was spheres, so, and I think my hand lost to just like spheres single bounce, like if he did it on my normal summon. I didn't want to take the risk, so I was just like, whatever, Dark Ruler, and I just won. He just scooped immediately. So then we had 3 Chaos Space, which is 3 World Legacy, 3 Quick Launch. I mean, the rest of the deck is pretty self-explanatory. 1 Ravine, 1 Boot Sector, and then the 2 Tidyings. I don't think I need to talk about any of these. They're good cards. All right, let's talk about the extra deck. I'm gonna put this card here because like everything in the extra deck is pretty self-explanatory except for this card. So I played this simply because there's 14 cards in the extra deck that are just always there. You're just always playing 14 cards, and then you have 1 slot, and that slot is usually either Apollo or Beat Cop or this. And this comes up only realistically for time in the round. I never summoned this card. That's not true. I summoned it once, but it wasn't for time in the round, which is funny. So this card was just an insurance policy for time, but like that was never an issue for me. The one time Scarlight came up was against the Generator player. The plan is that I was gonna bait Har by summoning Scarlight. So I had the Safer and I just normal summoned a Tracer, synchroed for Scarlight because I was going to use Scarlight to destroy all of his tokens plus his Har. Obviously he has to negate that. But I had an extender in my hand. I had the Wyver Burster. So the game plan was, because I already had Recharger in my hand. I just opened Recharger. Or maybe I drew into it off a boss fight. The game plan was going to be, I was going to special summon the white after summoning this, go into Striker, reborn this, and then use it to bomb his field, and then swing in and hit him. Because that would have been, after he tributed 2 to negate it the first time, that would have been 1500 plus 3000 plus however much like extra burst damage I did with like the extra dragon. So I think it would have been lethal and he would have just died. Except he Solemn Strike the summon of the Scarlight, so I didn't have that as an option. Like I couldn't bring this back because it got striked. So that was the only time that this card was relevant at all, and it just ended up not being relevant because he had called by Strike. So yeah, this card wasn't necessary, but the other 2 cards, like the Apollo or the Beat Cop, they wouldn't have come up either. Because, you know, like when I do the combo, like I almost never get put in a situation where like I'm able or want to summon the Apollo. Usually I'm dark locked by the time I get the LP Episty on field, and it's really only just insane hands where you're not. And then Beat Cop, Beat Cop like never comes up. Like the only times I've ever seen Beat Cop come up is you like your only play is like quick launch for Tracer, and then like you do something and they punishment you, and the only play you have is Tracer, target yourself, pop yourself for like Synchron. Back to the deck profile. Then we played the other 3 good synchros, the Pepega, the Savage, and the Hot Red. And then since I already have it out, we're going to Striker Dragon. Obviously you play 3 Striker Dragon, and you play LP Pisty for the Link 1s. For the Link 2s, obviously you play 2 Sphere, because you just do that. Then you play the 4 other Link monsters in the game. The only one that like people ever debate on is like Hulk. Hulk is just solid. Like it comes up sometimes. I think I OTK'd a couple people just because like there's, whenever you have World Legacy Guard Dragon plus any like tuner like Tracer or Synchron or whatever, you have a really easy way to go for lethal, like if you don't think your opponent has anything, which is just Hulk, summon the Synchron, make LP move it, and then that's just full combo. So how is Quadborrel going second? Actually it's a good thing you asked, because there was, for like the first time, like this like never happens, because I usually when I summon Quadborrel, like this card, at least when I play it, is like very specific most of the time, in that I have been Nibiru'd. Like I was going for combo, I got Nibiru'd, my Sphere triggers, I summon Red MD, I bring back a Rokket, and I go into Quadborrel, pop myself, and make Savage. Like that's 9 times out of 10 how I play this card. However, when I was playing against the Invoked player round 6, we were close to time, so he ended on Mechaba plus Secure Gardna to block damage. I summoned the Quadborrel, I pitched a card and I popped a Secure Gardna, and I summoned back a Synchron from my graveyard so that I could Synchro into Hot Red. Hot Red or Savage. I either made Hot Red with a Pepega, or I made Savage with Synchron and Absurrouter. I'm not really sure. I'm getting my games confused, but it came up going second 1 time today. So it was neat. But 9 times out of 10, this card is just your recovery play for Nibiru. Then for the side deck was really standard. We played 3 Nibirus, The 3 Phantasmes, this was the worst card for me. Like, Phantasme never came up. I literally never used this card once. Like, this is the most cuttable card in the extra deck. But, I mean, it's just in here because, like, against the mirror match, it's very advantageous. Part of me wishes it was Lancia, but only because I was joking with Corey the night before, and I was saying, I'm going to lose to Tri-Brigade because I don't have Lancia in my side. It's gonna happen. He's like, no, it's not. That deck's not real. And then round 8, I lost to Tri-Brigade because I didn't have Lancia, so let's see. Then we played 3 MST, 3 Twin Twister. MST is marginally better than Cosmic Cyclone, simply because of the fact that people are going to side Lancia against you. Like, theoretically, like, there are always going to be people that side Lancia against Dragon Link, because Lancia is solid against Dragon Link. It's not, like, the best, but, like, it happens. So you don't want to play Cosmic in decks where, like, they're going to side Lancia against you. So I just played MST instead, because the only things you really care about is Schism. Schism, Pandemonium, there can only be one, and, like, at that point, like, Cosmic doesn't really mean anything. Also, you don't have to pay 1,000 life points, which is neat. Then the last 3 cards are just the 3 triple tactical talents. This card is so good when you go first. Like, this card is actually just so good when you go first. Because here's the thing with triple tactical talents, is your opponent is going to side, like, an asinine number of hand traps against you in order to, like, in order for you to play. And, like, or for them to play. And so a lot of people need, like, 2 hand traps to stop Dragon Link from comboing. So after you get hand trapped the first time, if you have this card in your hand, you can just look at their hand and, like, you rip them for 1. And so now you know for sure that you're probably not getting hand trapped again. But beyond that too is you can kind of change how you play, because, like, most hand traps make you go -1, right? So, like, you have 4 cards in your hand, your opponent trip attacks you, and you're now down to 3 cards in your hand. I can now, like, have the option to go for Levianeer instead of, like, tidying as I normally would, and then I shuffle your hand. So now you have 2 cards, and I'm gonna end on, like, 1 to 2 negates plus a spheres if I do that. Like, Trip Tax is just so good. Like, when you draw this card, you pretty much are FTKing. I understand that, like, the thought behind, like, why you would rather play something like Ice Dragon's Prison is, like, if they don't hand trap you, then Ice Dragon's Prison is better because you can still use it if you don't get hand trapped. But, like, that doesn't matter. That's tangential, because at that point, like, if you didn't get hand trapped, you full comboed anyway. And a lot of the time, I'm leaving Pisty on the field, because, like, a lot of the time my end board would be, like, Spheres, Striker, Pisty, Hot Red, Savage, set tidying, 2 in hand. So, like, the Ice Dragon's Prison wouldn't do anything there, because you have Pisty on the field. So, like, not a fan. Like, just play this card. Also, this card's, like, decent to, like, top deck if you get into a grind game. Like, you can top deck this card, they use, like, an effect, and you're like, cool, Talons, draw 2. And that's the other thing, is you can change, like, what you want to do with it. Like, if your hand sucks and you get hand trapped, cool, draw 2 cards. Now my hand doesn't suck. So that was the deck. It did pretty well.